Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Davis with Informed Entrepreneur, and this afternoon we're speaking with Scott Jennings from FitTech, and they serve the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and the surrounding states, and they do some very interesting work, not the type of work that you might think about on a regular basis, but if they didn't do it, many of you would notice. So Scott, tell us a little bit more about yourself. We'd like to get what we refer to as an elevator pitch, which is, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's like 45 seconds or a minute just to kind of summarize what it is that you do, and then we'll go into a little more depth. So please feel free to introduce yourself, Scott.
Yep. So my name is Scott Jennings with FitTech and Assembly. I actually own two businesses, FitTech and Assembly and Pure Fit Systems. Combined, we sell, maintain, and service commercial and residential fitness equipment. So basically that means that we're the mechanic for the fitness industry as well as the dealership.
Perfect. So I know that my experience, and I wish I could say I was as good at it as I should be, is that when I go to the gym and I'm working out, there are all those machines in there, and that's the type of thing I hadn't thought about. But someone's got to make sure those machines are working properly. Well, number one, they have to make sure that they're installed, working properly, and if something happens to them, to make sure that they get repaired. And that's my understanding of what you do and the service that you provide. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, it's the same thing as your HVAC repair or your plumbing or even your auto mechanic. We are the company that comes in when there's a repair needed to perform any warranty or non-warranty repair, as well as preventive maintenance. Most people do not stop to think that a treadmill or an elliptical or a recumbent bike or even a weight system needs preventive maintenance, but it does. Mm-hmm. So we're the company that comes in throughout the day or even sometimes after hours and either does deep cleaning on treadmills or the vacuuming underneath them and inside them, or lubricating of the walking belt, down to the warranty repair when the commercial piece of equipment goes down and they need someone to come fix it.
Perfect. So is there anything else that you think makes you stand out? Now, I think that's a almost funny question because it's not like there's an equipment repair company like yours on every block, but I'm sure you're not the only one either, right? So what is it that your customers really, the people, the businesses that you service, what do they really like about what you do for them?
Well, essentially, our niche is that we provide corporate pricing. So what that allows us to do is, if you have a hotel chain, if you have multi-clubs such as, let's say, your Gold's Gym and your franchise, and there's 5 of you, well, that allows us to provide a discount in labor, discount in parts. Our bread and butter is really preventive maintenance. We've gotten to where I think we're an industry leader in the area. We have signed on whole franchises for our region where more often than not they have multiple providers. They come to us, and it's based in customer service. I think that's one of the things that we are so used to, accepting bad service. We go around, we experience it on a regular basis, and we're used to it. And one of the things that we constantly preach to ourselves is that we're responsive, that we are going to take specific steps to the solution, and we're going to lay them out. The better the customer can communicate to us, the better we can be of service to them and be a resource to them. And for our customers as well, we tell them all the time, please, if you have a question, call. Just give a call, and we can answer that for you. And sometimes we can solve many issues over the phone without ever having to send a tech out, because the equipment is the workhorse of a fitness center.
Sure.
Even for a YMCA.
Sure.
The fitness center is usually the workhorse for most YMCAs, as well as just your typical gym and studio, or it's the amenity for your multifamily housing, or your clubhouse for your community. And these things are important. So sometimes a repair is as simple as tightening of a screw or the replacement of a screw. And a lot of times if the maintenance guy on site will give us a call, we'll show them. We're not here just to take your money. We're here to provide a service that is quality and that has your bottom line is part of the big picture at all times. If we don't have to come, we don't want to come. If we can teach you to do something basic, and then leave the big repairs to us.
Sure. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. The preventive maintenance is great, right? And I think I'm sure if you don't have to come, they don't want you to come either. Not only for expense, but also just for convenience, right? I mean, because they want to be able to keep their equipment working for the people that are using them. And I think you gave some great examples. I heard you say gyms. Whether they're large franchises or they're the amenities in even in a hotel or an apartment complex. Something where you've got multi people using them and they don't want to come in and have an out of order sign or something not working right. They just want it to be working, and preventive maintenance is definitely a lot less stressful and less expensive all the way around to having to fix something once it's broken. Does that sound accurate, what I just said?
Oh, it's exactly right. So preventive maintenance mitigates liability.
Right.
You think about when you're a child and you stub your toe as you're running down the street on the sidewalk, and suddenly you meet the concrete at a high velocity.
Yes.
Well, imagine when a treadmill stops suddenly and you're running at 7 or 8 miles an hour if you're able to. Or let's say you're walking. Let's say you're an individual, you're staying at a hotel, you have some balance issues, and suddenly the treadmill stops. Or the elliptical breaks, right, and all your weight is on that foot.
Right.
So preventive maintenance is key, and every single manufacturer has that in their warranty information that you need to be doing this. Otherwise, we can void your warranty.
Wow.
It's your job to take care of. It's the same thing as a car manufacturer. A car has a warranty, right? But you don't go, well, I'm sorry, my car has a warranty, I don't have to do anything. But yet you still change the oil, you still rotate tires.
Yeah. So it's not just convenience. It's not just convenience for the end user. It's also liability and expense avoidance for the people supplying the equipment. I think those are very important things to mention too. And I love your analogy about a car, right? So you don't have to, you're right. It's under warranty. You have to bring it in on a regular basis. I mean, you don't have to, but I actually had a friend that didn't do that, and he was leasing a car and he had to bring it back. He was in a lot of trouble because he was so bad on that they ended up having to pay a ton of money at the end of his lease because he had really done damage to the engine by not taking care of it. I mean, it can be very expensive to not do that. So that's good. So you help make sure all the equipment's running and everything is running properly. That's great.
Yeah, and let's put it this way too. In our industry, treadmills and ellipticals and recumbent bikes, the cardio is what we really talk about a lot of times because a weight system is so simplistic. Mm-hmm. Yes, you need to be inspecting cables and keeping your vinyl padding in good repair. Sure. By the way, if you start seeing cracks in vinyl padding, that's where infectious diseases live. So H1N1, wow, E. coli, and anything that the body sweats out gets caught in those. So it's important to have a service provider helping you make sure that your padding is up to par. But what we have to understand is that treadmills are, now that we're moving into ellipticals and recumbent bikes, we're moving into touchscreen computers.
Okay.
And so it's very important to take care of these things because I have treadmills in our that we take care of that are the top end of what we would call the gym or the commercial space before you move into athletic products, right, that a football team would use, and they're $15,000 treadmills.
Wow.
Well, we can go online and look at 2016 cars that cost less than $15,000.
Sure.
And you'll take care of you go back and you take care of that $15,000 car. Why would you forget the treadmill? Why would you take this $8,000 or $9,000 elliptical and not take care of it?
Wow.
And so it's about the longevity of the product. It's an investment. That's what they have in it. So you have to take care of the investment, or you're either going to pay for it now, or you're going to pay for it later. Yeah. But fitness equipment is really only designed to last between 5 and 8 years. It's like your laptop. They need you to buy the latest and the greatest.
Right.
Fitness equipment is the same, constantly evolving. However, if it was a refrigerator, everybody needs a refrigerator. So you can spend $1,000 on a refrigerator, and it lasts you 15, 20 years. The fitness equipment is well, also you're not running on top or pounding on top of your refrigerator.
Sure.
So it tends to last longer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got an investment. Take care of it. And that's what our job is to do, is to repair it properly, and then teach you what preventive maintenance means, and how, so that you get the longevity out of it. Because the reality is we want you to see the 8-year mark.
Sure.
I
That's
have
great.
plenty of people who come to us, their equipment is 3 years old, and it looks like it's 5 and 6 years old because
Sure.
no one's ever even wiped it down properly.
Sure. Well, that's great. I think this has really been helpful. So what I heard was that there are several reasons. One is, again, one is convenience for the end user. The other is for insurance and also for liability avoidance, right? And really the other that I'm hearing is there's a health issue going on here too. This is a good way to make sure that that the equipment is not causing a problem, right, for somebody's health by touching something that if 100 other people have been using it for thousands of hours or whatnot, it causes another problem. I mean, and then of course, as we said before, maintenance is way less expensive than repair. So this is a lot of good stuff. I'm certainly much better educated on why this is important.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, there's multiple reasons why you take care of the fitness equipment. The downside is that when you get into commercial, some of it is built so well that it can go 3 and 4 years without any real maintenance done to it. Mm-hmm. And it will run just fine. But then suddenly,
right,
you'll have an astronomical bill that might be $2,000.
Right, and that's why the maintenance
because
matters.
We have,
yeah,
exactly, because we have treadmills that the lower, what we call the lower motor control board, which is a circuit board in the bottom. There's brands out there that those circuit boards are $1,000, $1,600. But if you've blown that board because you didn't take care of it, we're also going to tell you got to buy the walking belt and maybe the walking deck as well.
Sure.
And so you end up with a $2,000 bill before it's all said and done.
Right.
And with just regular care, you don't have to be there.
Right.
And also cleaning with the right products. See, most people seem to think that Lysol and Purell and
right.
Simple Green and
that
all
will solve
these
everything.
things that we clean our kitchen with are correct.
Yes.
And that's not the case. Actually, that's wrong because it's harmful to the plastic and the paint. Mm-hmm. Clean your fitness equipment with a little Dawn and water or vinegar and water because it's soft on the equipment. And you say, well, what about all these diseases? Well, I don't know. You're washing your dishes. We're cleaning a duck after an oil spill with Dawn.
Right.
We can clean a little sweat off with fitness equipment.
No, that's great. So I've got a question. What's a book you've read or piece of advice you've gotten that you would say has really helped you in developing your business?
Recently, I've been finishing up. It's a book called Good to Great.
Ah, yes.
Cannot remember who the author is. But that just sort of solidified sort of the path I think we were taking anyways. Then we got another one here, Raving Fans. Let's see if we can see that. This is a great book. This is really customer service oriented. It tells you to focus on taking care of that customer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like the good old standby people like Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and Maxwell and stuff, because I think the secret to business is being a good person first, and taking care. You're of service. I mean, that's how FitTech does business. We talk all the time about being hospitality oriented.
Sure.
Take care of the customer the best that you can. Yes, the customer is not always right. Mm-hmm. But if you treat them more often than they are,
right,
they'll keep coming back.
Right.
You give away stuff for free too. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't charge for everything. It's not my job to. My job, like I said, we want customers to call us and say, the authors have taught me to focus in on being what I'm good. That's what Good to Great is really about. It's the hedgehog effect.
Right.
And what made businesses really good, and that was they focused focused in on the very things that they could be great at and did not worry so much about the things that they weren't good at.
Exactly.
And I think that's key for every business owner.
Absolutely.
Do what you know how to do, and don't follow your dream, follow your effort. Your effort is where you're going to be good.
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Since we're talking about businesses and success, I really think that, if a business owner comes in and tries to lay out why he was so good, I think that the key thing is that you just don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
You keep pounding forward, and you're asking questions that are there to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Find mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Find those. They don't even have to be in your industry. They just have had to see similar problems. We all have to deal with accounting issues. We all have to deal with, tax issues. We all have to struggle with failure because none of us are perfect.
Sure.
And
well,
so I think
we all know
we
tend to learn by mistakes too. We can learn by our mistakes as well.
Yeah. And then with the fitness equipment industry, find a provider that you trust. That also check behind your provider as well. We have followed behind other competitors that say that they're doing a certain job and they're not, and it's very obvious. And if your competitor then says, well, we're going to drop our price, well, that didn't mean that the service just got better. It just means that your price got cheap for bad service.
Absolutely.
We see that all the time.
Sure.
I've never understood that. So, and then the fitness equipment world, please take care of your equipment. You have people running on it, pulling very heavy weights, sitting on top of a bench with a couple 100 pounds over top of them.
Sure.
It's key to work with a service provider.
Yep. Well, thank you very much. I wanted to say again that we're speaking with Scott Jennings of FitTech, and in just a moment you're going to see how to contact him, and you'll see on the screen he's going to let you know about his email and website address and phone number. So, thank you again very much for joining us today. Again, this is Mike Davis for Informed Entrepreneur, and until next time, have a great rest of your day.